Let's talk about PK. First off, this DVD cover is huge, man.
I know.
It's the biggest DVD cover I've ever seen. And it came with this little like sticker thing, which is
so
cool.
cute.
I didn't even like open this up yet. This is my first time opening it up. This is like all the different outfits you see of Aamir Khan.
He had some really questionable clothes, but I think that was just his character.
We watched this trailer together. We didn't really know what the hell this movie was about. What the fuck?
Oh, he's built.
It looked like a kooky guy who maybe had some kind of weird social anxiety issues, and maybe he had Asperger's or something, and he was stealing clothes from people having sex in cars. Then he's naked at the end of the trailer, walking in the middle of a train track, and just like, what the hell's going on in this movie? And it was really weird. And then someone in the comments told me it was about an alien. I'm like,
Yeah.
I hope that's not a lie. I hope this guy's not messing with me.
Going into the movie and knowing that it was about an alien landing on Earth, I kind of expected it to be a completely different type of movie.
Yeah.
A discussion about religion. I didn't see that coming, but it was done so well.
I completely agree. This PK is my favorite Indian movie so far. It's a rival between 3 Idiots and PK actually, because like we just got done talking about all the philosophies of 3 Idiots, and I'm like, that's a heavy competition right there. To me, they're kind of companion films. Like we said at the very beginning, you know, they're both Aamir Khan, and they're both films that are designed to challenge your way of looking at the world. That it did. It's like, I come from a religious upbringing and moved away from it. And so it's easy for me to really engage in the discussion the movie wants me to have. And that discussion is like, what is man's, what do you call it? Oh, God, I'm all like spent. Hold on. I got this.
I'm
I so
listening.
got it.
Okay.
It demonstrates how greed. You go. You try now. You understand what I'm saying though, right?
No, oh, okay. Man corrupts religion.
Man corrupts, yes, but it's like, yes, that is.
Because he
this-
talks in the film, he talks about wrong numbers, right? If as individuals we have a direct line to God,
Right.
the wrong numbers are all of the so-called religious people in power who tell us what we're supposed to do in order to gain God's favor, or to pass an exam, or to make your wife get better, or whatever. But if you think about the way PK does, that God is a benevolent father, and you just try and think about, well, what would a loving parent want me to do
Logically.
logically, then the things that they're saying don't make any sense at all.
Right, well, you see, when you said man corrupts religion, ever since getting heavily into the Bollywood stuff, I've had a lot of conversations with people who are religious, and some of those conversations got heated. The philosophy that was kind of argued back at me was, religion isn't bad, it's what certain people do with religion. And it's like, I can see your argument, but if religion wasn't there in the first place, what would this argument be? Some Christians believe that without the 10 Commandments, without the Bible, we'd just be killing each other. Let's just pretend, for the sake of argument, I'm not asking you to do this permanently, but for the sake of argument, let's pretend you stop believing in God. Are you gonna go out and murder a bunch of people now?
No.
You know, and why wouldn't you? And the reason why is because you don't want that to happen to you. You just inherently know that it's wrong. We are tribal creatures that have, you know, gone through millions of years of evolution. Somehow we survived before religion came around. I don't think we were all constantly killing each other, otherwise there wouldn't be a species.
Well, also,
to propagate.
There's the law as well.
I'm saying outside of the law.
Right,
Outside of religious concepts, outside of the law, we wouldn't propagate as a species if we were busy killing each other.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're here to help each other survive. Without religion, you are still going to behave in such a way that is, I think, conducive to everyone else's survival as well. That's why I'm not trying to say man corrupts religion, although he does. Like, people will take this thing, put their spin on it in order to make a gazillion dollars and become the pinnacle of power. But that's not the point. The point is the philosophy of how we treat each other and how you're supposed to treat yourself and behave in this world with each other in order to be a peaceful, loving person, right?
And also just, you know, to get through your life in a positive way as well.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
And so for me, with, you know, what I took from the film is just like, over time, all these traditions or rituals have been developed to communicate with the higher being, God. And it's like, is that how you talk to your dad? Like, if God is our dad, is your dad gonna have you roll around? Like, I love that whole thing where Aamir Khan is like rolling around to do, like, and he's going through all the different religious rituals in order to communicate with God just so he can get back home. That scene was he's just frustrated. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love, because it's like, I went through that. I went through all those rituals as a kid. I took the Holy Communion, the body of Christ and whatnot, and did the, confession and the 10 prayers and this and that. It's like, it was a lot of stuff. And ultimately, I don't believe I needed the church to talk to God if I wanted to talk to God.
You just talk to God yourself.
Well, exactly. And that's the point. I thought it was a very bold movie. And some people, I noticed, accused Aamir Khan of I don't know what Aamir Khan's religion is. They were basically accusing him of kind of taking a crap on other religions with this movie. And it's like, I don't think he was taking a crap on any specific religion. He was saying in general, at least in the film, these religious rituals aren't getting you closer to God than you could be just trying to talk to God directly yourself. You've got a direct telephone connection.
Exactly. The whole concept of the film, having him be an alien and have that kind of childlike innocence, coming in and looking at religion from the perspective of an outsider was a really smart move.
Yeah.
And he's so endearing. They can explore these tough subject matters that you admitted that you've talked to people about, and it gets heated because people hold religion very closely to their hearts.
Yeah.
And I feel like because his character is so innocent, he doesn't get it. So he's looking at it with fresh eyes that you can really start to look at it objectively and say, yeah, that's kind of strange.
Right. Him being innocent like that also taps into what we accept as cultural norms. And it's kind of odd that we accept it as cultural norms. Like, he was just trying to hold someone's hand just so he can get some information.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone was like freaking out and making this monumental deal about it when all he was trying to do was hold someone's hand. And it's like, it's such an innocent thing being perceived as this super awful thing. It really makes you reconsider what we take for granted as normal.
Because on his planet, they walk around naked and they don't use language because language enables lies.
It's a barrier.
Yeah, you can be tricky with language, whereas with thought, you can't lie.
I want to talk about the ending real quick before I forget. I loved the whole thing with, the beginning and the end, because it's the bookends, right?
Yeah.
They introduced the girl, Jagu. They introduced the girl and her whole love scene, or not love scene, but the...
Sarfraz.
Sarfraz is her lover, right? And played by Sushant Singh Rajput, who was also...
MS Dhoni!
That scene went on for a while, right?
Yeah.
And
we were like, oh, there's a love story, what's going on here?
Right, and then for most of the movie, it's like that had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, why was that scene in there? It went on for so long, and it felt like it was so out of place and unnecessary. But it was brought back, and I realized that the film was actually really tightly woven. Like, it had everything it needed, and it was really, really well crafted. It was such a well crafted script and film, and they bring it back at the end. PK makes this ultimate sacrifice where he brings Jagu back to the man that she loves and sacrifices his own potential happiness with her. And I thought that was so touching. And then the scene in the desert when she goes, what are all these tapes? And he goes, oh, I've just recorded arbitrary things like birds chirping and whatnot and just random sounds. Yeah. And she listens and it's all just her talking.
Oh my
and
God.
It's the only lie he's ever told.
Yeah.
And
he
like
bold-faced just lies to her again when she's like, PK, what's on those tapes?
Right.
And he's like, oh no, just sounds, crows,
Right.
Cars honking.
Right, cars honking.
So just like straight-faced lies, and that's what he's learned from living on our planet.
Right. For me, the ending was really touching because I didn't see it coming. Because the typical ending is they would have ended up together. That's what's supposed to happen in these movies. But he gives her away. He gives her back. He basically steps aside and helps guide her back to the guy that she fell in love with. And despite himself, it's like it just is super touching to me. I didn't see it coming. I mean, I'm just starting to repeat myself now,
Yeah.
but I just loved that ending. I thought it was really unexpected and powerful. I wanted them to end up together, but they didn't, but it was like a good thing that
Yeah.
they didn't. It's just the way they handled it was really, really good.
Because she did love him, but she loved him like a friend, you know? I think.
Who knows?
Anyway.
It almost doesn't matter. The point is, for me bringing that up, the point is that he stepped aside.
Yeah.
Because that's how he showed his love for her, was by letting go.
Yeah, and also by figuring out that Sarfraz didn't actually leave her at the altar. It was all a misunderstanding.
Right, that almost brings up a whole other, I mean, I guess it's the big philosophy in the film, is what is your perception and is it correct?
Exactly.
You know, it's like, is your perception really the truest perception possible? Are you being scientific enough about it and asking yourself, is this reality or is this the reality that I just happen to believe in?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you gotta weigh that and kind of analyze it and
Yeah.
go, well, now what? You know?
Because it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy because of what that guru had said to her.
Yeah, what he put in her head.
Yeah, what he put in her head. So when she received that letter, which was for the wrong person,
Yeah.
she immediately thought it was him, and she didn't even think to call him and be like, yo, what's up? What? You said you were gonna marry. What? Why'd you change your mind?
Right.
Boo.
Wait, but-
And also there was like the whole religion thing again, tying it back into religion because she's Hindu and he's Muslim, and you know,
Right.
historically.
Yeah, that's actually a
don't
big
get
thing. It's
along.
like these two people, for all intents and purposes, could be happy together.
Yeah.
But their parents' philosophies are standing in the way of their potential love.
Yeah.
And that's a very real thing. I mean, I've encountered weird things like that where I don't want to get into it, but I've encountered weird things like that, and it sucks. It's like, why? So here you've got two people who could have a really magical journey together, but the ideology that their parents put on them is going to stand in their way.
Yeah.
That's not right.
And then love conquers all.
Love conquers
I had to throw that in there.
I love PK. I love that movie so much. I think it's just really, really well done.
Yeah.
And Aamir Khan's acting, like, he does not break character once in that film, and he's got those eyes. I don't even know how he does it. There was this one moment when she realizes that PK's been telling the truth, and she goes looking for him and finds him on a stairway, and just the way Aamir Khan kind of like turns around on the stairs, I'm like, this is so real.
Yeah,
just the way he acts.
His physicality, just looking at him in PK and in Three Idiots, like,
Yeah.
the characters are similar in that they're kind of these kooky oddball characters who think outside of the box and have a different world view.
Yeah.
But definitely PK is way more quirky, and he physicalized that more, like in his stance with his like head leaning forward. He was very much, that was his center of gravity, and his eyes, like, I don't know how you do that and not get a headache by the end of the day.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, according to some of those comments in other videos, he's Mr. Perfectionist.
You can tell.
Yeah.
He definitely really thought about the details of the characters.
I'm definitely an Aamir Khan fan.
Yeah.
For reals. Like, I'll watch anything he does at this point. Like, it just, he clearly like picks these projects and spends a lot of time honing it, like much in the same way that Daniel Day-Lewis does. He's so good. I don't even have the proper words.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Dangal.
Yeah, me too. Anyways, I think we've spoken enough about these films. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to us rant about it. Thanks you guys so much for hanging out with us. Please check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media. Follow her on Twitter. She's really good about responding. At least right now she is. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, I'm JABY KOAY. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.